Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 34 years. My team and I believe in custom tailored loans, not the one size fits all approach. We believe there is a right mortgage for you, and we believe we are the team to deliver it.
And I'm Ian Arnold, part of the hardworking mortgage team. I've been in the financial industry for 15 years, helping customers rebuild their credit to get the best possible interest rate. I have a passion in helping you secure your overall real estate dreams.
And as we get started, if you have any questions on real estate or the Indy's real estate market or mortgages, please go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And today we're really excited. And Jenny, I think it's Melind, but I don't want to misspell it or mispronounce it. So it's Jenny
Melind, like Melinda without the A.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're with KellerWilliams.
I am.
And you have, how did you, as you started to get into, I guess, before real estate, what did you do? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Pike Township in Indianapolis. Okay. My dad was the track and cross country coach and director of career services at Marian College. So we grew up near that campus. And yeah, I went to school there. I ran for him there, and I have a political science degree.
Okay.
From Marian. And after that, I thought I was going to maybe travel or go to grad school, and realized that bills, take over real life.
Life takes
real
over.
life. So I ended up in the service industry for a long time, as a bartender, server, all over Indianapolis, really.
So you ran. I mean, what did you run?
I ran cross country.
Okay.
In high school. And then I played softball and basketball for a while, but never ran track until I got to college. I kind of didn't even plan to run in college, but I started working out with my dad's team just to stay fit, and found out I was eligible to run. And so I joined the cross country team, and then track season came around, and the Steeplechase was introduced into the women's conference that year for the first time. And so my dad was like, this might be something you'd be interested in. I didn't want to run endlessly around the track, like mid-distance or distance. So I started doing that, and I got to go to nationals a couple times for it. And I was number one in my conference a couple times. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. Hold on. So I will say this. Once I got an odd event, and I did the steeplechase too.
What?
Yeah. So
awesome.
Is the steeplechase is you run around a whole lap, and in one part is water and a hurdle. Want to talk about an odd thing for a track race? That is it.
The horse race. That's what a lot of people like their face. They're like, "What's that?" And it's the horse race where they have the water pit, and it's a 7.5 lap race, and it's intense. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think after this show, or maybe during it, we should go out and let you two race.
Wait. Hopefully we're not doing steeplechase. The only type of liquid around here is oil, and I don't want to jump into that.
Where'd you go to school and run that?
I did it. I ran for North Central, and then I did some events out of school, and that's where I ran some. I ran the one at IUPUI, their track, several times.
Track to run it on. That's awesome.
But IUPUI was designed for the Olympic trials for years and years back. But that's how that track is, and then why it has, I think, 10 lanes, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why it has 10 lanes, where most, like even high school and a lot of college only have 8.
Okay. Nice. We didn't have a track at Marian, so we practiced there and ran our meets there. The year I graduated, they put in a track, but 1 lane short of like a.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. So it's very weird. I don't know what they were thinking, but they can't really hold meets there still.
Apparently, whoever was in charge couldn't count.
Right. Exactly.
That is crazy.
Regulation, that's the word.
So you did all that, then you got into real estate.
Correct.
And when you got into real estate, how did you get going? Because I know a lot of people really struggle with getting their business off the ground in real estate.
Okay. Well, I got to give a huge shout out to Ryan and Ashley Melind with FS Houses. They are they're a husband and wife team that got me into real estate. I knew Ryan in different circles growing up, and we had a mutual friend who, kept coming into the restaurant that I was working at, and she had gotten into real estate kind of the same way that I did. She worked for a property management company where they leased out houses to people, and so she was getting her real estate license and was like, "Hey, I think you'd be really good at this job. Would you be interested in talking to Ryan?" And so I went and talked to him and started leasing houses with that property management company. But he and his wife had this dream of owning their own brokerage and doing the same business, basically buying houses that were dilapidated, close in proximity to downtown. They were like the pioneers of Bates Hendricks, Fountain Square, the Near East Side. Yeah.
Wow.
So like 2014 was when I got in, and they had this vision that they were going to start buying these houses, flipping them, selling them to out-of-state investors. And so they paid for me to get my real estate license, and then basically groomed me to sell their houses. And I did limited agency with them, and still rented on the side, like kind of as a side hustle. I didn't have to do any of my own like marketing or lead generation. They basically fed me people, but it was my job to tour them around these neighborhoods, and then they did a great job of like flipping the houses. They picked great neighborhoods that they saw the potential for long-term residential sales, but also neighborhoods where we got decent tenants. And so it's a very lucrative business. And that was like when Indy was starting to blow up as far as like being the perfect market for buy and hold real estate. So that was, yeah. And then that's how I got in.
So you got in, and I thought you've obviously done extremely well. So you've moved from that into. Do you still do a lot of rentals, or is it what is your kind of your expertise now?
Well, I still have clients from that time period that will reach back out to me if they want to sell now, because the real estate market has changed a ton, and they're if they're taking chips off the table and selling those properties. But and that's like I feel like I grew up as an investor in real estate, so that's kind of I understand it really well. I'm an investor myself, so I'm still in that a little bit. But once the market started to get super saturated in 2016, and we had to change our business model a little bit, and they started selling more residential houses. I just saw that it was the margin for me to stay in that was getting smaller, and you can make a lot more money on I was only making like $1,000 a deal while I was doing that, but I got a ton of experience, like 30 transactions for the first 2 years, each year that I was in real estate. So decided I was going to go into residential. I went over to Tucker at that time, and another shout out to Cynthia Yosha Snyder, who sells top 20% at Tucker, and she allowed me to be on her team and was my mentor for a couple of years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How important is it to be on a good, solid team with a great mentor?
I think it's really, it was an amazing experience. She's such a professional, and she really taught me how to do it correctly. Listing and making sure that, she's very customer service oriented, and does a great job. So she taught me everything that I knew about selling residential. And I thought, every issue that I came up against, having somebody right there to kind of walk me through it, it was huge.
So I know now you're with KellerWilliams. So what made you go to KellerWilliams? What do they offer that supports you?
Okay. Well, I kind of it was actually a whirlwind. I didn't even realize that I was going to be going to KellerWilliams. It just happened. I had a cross transaction with Stacy Snively, who's an excellent agent in our office. And we, I think, were about the same, time. She maybe has been doing it a little bit longer than I have, but I just could tell that she was along the same, vibe wavelength that I was, and selling quite a bit. And I just asked her, she was doing an Airbnb. So she has a really awesome Airbnb / like pole barn in Westfield, like right outside of the sports facility there. and she was crushing it. And I was like, what? And she was like, KellerWilliams is teaching me how to do all these things. Like they have, this mentality that it's a work-life balance, that they, teach you to leverage yourself, and, that there's many, ways to make money in real estate. It's not just grind and do transaction after transaction. Like there's more opportunities available. And so, just that. And then Mary Papel, who is our at KellerWilliams Indy Metro North, she's the team leader there. And I had met her when I was joining her team. Cynthia was like, you got to go to KellerWilliams and check out these other places. I want to make sure this is where you want to be. And I met Mary then, and she ended up being kind of like the segue. Stacy Snively invited me to a mega agent panel in Ohio, and Mary was there, and she was the one that had bought my ticket. And then she started offering to coach me, and I was like, this makes sense. It's the vibe. They're so collaborative there. Just the office environment, everybody like really, really roots for each other. And it's a really cool workplace.
How does that help you take care of your customer?
So I think number one, I was getting really burnt out on doing 50 transactions a year by myself. I had a transaction coordinator the last year that I was at Tucker, but I really just, was needing to figure out how to build a team and leverage, and take some of the workload off. And I think that KellerWilliams, number one, is designed to celebrate team building. They have a structure and like a exact formula in place that they teach you how to do it. And I felt like that was super important. Their training is amazing. Like they really focus on and have something like every week, and then also split it up for like their top 20% producers. They have a different training on top of that they offer. So I feel like it's been huge since I've been there.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, if they have any real estate needs, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
My phone number is probably like a text message to me is the best way, just because I get so much spam calling. I never know who's calling. But a text message to my phone number at 317-418-4064, 317-418-4064. Or you can also sign up on our website. It's melindgroup.com.
And Melind is Melind,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And you're Jenny Melind.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Still Jenny Melind.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, if you do call her, because we all get those spam calls, if she doesn't pick up, leave a voicemail.
Please.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I will tell you this right now, even I'm bad at it. I don't recognize this number. It seems a little weird. It's going to voicemail. If you leave a voicemail, I'll listen to it and I'll call you back. But I get too many spam calls. Just like,
gosh. I think I signed up for something recently that I'm just like getting killed with spam. It's weird.
Yeah. I tend to answer everything if I can.
It seems like if you answer it, you get more of them. So I just try to not answer them.
I'm afraid that I'm going to answer it and they're going to steal my identity.
Hello? Yes, now we have your social.
Yes.
What? I just said hello. And Rick, how are they get a hold of you and I?
Go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can go to 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And if we thank you for listening to Indy's Real Estate Gurus. You thought I was going to forget, didn't you?
You did.
The Gurus, we interview, share valuable insights. They reveal their strengths, personalities, and how they'll work for you. Well, we hardworking mortgage guys secure your best mortgage. Real estate gurus work hard too. They avoid problems the amateurs don't even see. They listen. They find unrealized opportunities. If you're buying or selling a home, a real estate guru is a valuable asset. If you're even thinking of buying or selling a home, keep listening and definitely call one of Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
All right, Jenny, let's take a side step. Let's find out more about you.
Okay.
So let's say I got to take away your phone for 24 hours. You can't touch it. After you get off the ground in a fetal position.
I don't think you'll ever get it away from
No, probably not. What do we catch you out there doing for fun?
Okay. For fun, I've got 3 kids. They are definitely like at the top of my list for just trying to spend time with them. They're super fun. They are all aging up. My youngest is turning 5 on Sunday.
Wow.
Race day, baby. My middle is turning 7, just got done with kindergarten, and my oldest is going to be 11 in August, and she is going into 6th grade.
Wow,
So,
that's a big deal right there.
yeah, they keep us really busy. I love hanging out with my husband too. I feel like we do a lot of stuff as a family. He's got like 55 close family members within the proximity of like Broaderpool.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do a lot of family time, a lot of quality time. And then I've got a dog, Puddle. I love dogs, and I grew up with a husky, and I rollerbladed with him, and so I like same thing with Puddle. Like we'll go out rollerblading, and he'll like pull me on my rollerblades. It's kind of a thing. I feel, and I've like videoed myself on social media doing it, and I mean, we live in Meridian Kessler. I feel like everybody knows each other there, and people be like, "I saw you out with your dog." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm really excited." It's so fun though.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good spot to be because you're right there next to the Monon.
Oh my gosh.
So it's especially if we're talking easy, take the dog, take the kids. It's that Monon Trail is awesome right there.
It is, but like even just in Meridian Kessler, like Central, and like we live between Central and Washington, and it's starting to get too gravelly right now. But for like the past 5 or 6 years, they had just paved it, and it is amazing. Like there's just a good circle, and then there's a big hill that drops. Like I mean, it's significant, and so we go down that hill, and it's pretty awesome.
So I got to know, how did Puddles get his or her name?
So one Puddle, my kids will correct you. Like they'll wait a year and let you call them Puddles and then they'll be like, it's one Puddle. And people are like, oh gosh, okay. And we were just walking in Broaderpool. We got him from a breeder, which I feel bad about, but for this age group, I feel like it was the right move. And we were just talking about a name. We knew that we were getting him. And my 4-year-old or 5-year-old Prince was like, what about Puddle? And it was like a little bit gray and dreary in Broaderpool, and there was definitely, we were walking by a puddle, and John and I looked at each other like, that actually would work. So that's how we got it.
There's usually a story behind the way
an
animal gets its name, right?
He's totally Puddle too.
Yeah.
He's cool.
Now the real question is, and then, Mom, how'd you name me? Well, we happen to see.
I've got interesting ones for all the kids too. But
so, what would you say your superpower or superpowers
are? I think that I have a really great sense in reading people. I don't know if it's like my own well, I have more self-awareness now, and it's growing, but I just like have I just can read people, or I have compassion, or just meeting people where they're at. I can talk to basically anybody, and just I don't know, it's some way of just like being able to connect with people, I think.
Now, did working in restaurants help you with that?
Sure. Yeah.
That's what,
Customer service mentality. Growing up in Pike Township too, it was a very diverse experience, I think, at school. And then, I've always just been like a very like big people person. And my mom is also that way. So I think that that's kind of a gift from her. But just kind of meeting people where they're at and connecting with people.
There's certainly a diverse amount of people that we work with, isn't there? And everybody's different, but it makes a big difference. I bartended also, and I always thought that was a great training grounds for really being out there and doing anything in customer service.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like that was a huge benefit coming into real estate, because you just take that and apply it.
Yeah, the movie Cocktail is based off of Rick Ripma, if you did not know.
Okay.
I did not look at it. I'll just tell you that right now. And I was taller.
I need to check that movie out. Is it,
Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
I was a lot taller.
Are you saying Tom Cruise is short?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
He's also crazy. Crazy is not really the right term, but he is a daredevil.
In what way? I always go to Scientology.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, well, his daredevil.
If you're a Scientologist, you're fine, but I just like that's the crazy I associate with him.
No, it's the daredevil's really what I meant, and that is he does his own stunts.
Okay.
Okay. I am really into cars. If you couldn't tell when you
Oh.
walked in, and one of the shows I used to love when it was by these other guys was Top Gear, and he came on Top Gear, and one of the things a celebrity gets to do is race on their track. And I mean, he drove like a maniac. I'm surprised he lived through it. He drives like a maniac.
Were you there?
No, I just watched it on
You
TV.
watched it.
Yeah, no, this show was out of England, and it was my favorite show for years. It was I guess it was the #1 show in the world for years.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he's just crazy. He's just a crazy guy, and
He's
a
pretty cool.
daredevil.
He's
really
a cool guy. I feel like the time that he was on Oprah really just like, if that never happened, then I wouldn't like, but I always think it's weird. I'm like, I wonder if him and Katie Holmes are still together.
They're not.
They're not?
No, they got
That's
divorced
sad.
a while back.
Yeah, he's really into all the. You need anything on celebrities, you got Ian.
I love
Well,
celebrity fish.
I love movies. So for instance, so you just know about that stuff over time. Like for last little tidbit, and then so the movie Top Gun almost was never made. Tom Cruise refused to do it. And so they were like, all right, here, we're going to send you the Blue Angels. I want you to just ride with them. As soon as he got off the plane ride, he called him and goes, we're doing this.
Wow.
He refused to do it until he rode in a plane. And now he rides in planes and has his own pilot license. But that's here nor there.
He's a daredevil.
Yes.
I would not get in a plane with him as pilot. He's a daredevil. If nothing else, he'd scare the whatever out of
Yeah, that's good information in case I ever find myself.
Don't get in a plane with him as he's the pilot.
Offered, to
Yeah.
plane with him.
So let me ask you on the real estate side, what do you think separates what you do based off of other realtors?
Ooh, well, I don't know if like this. There's a lot of realtors that run their business probably the same way that I do. But I think my own way or unique way of doing it is definitely just like building relationships with people. I feel like I've always like the connection piece, or like that's what like feeds my soul. And I think that there are times definitely where you get lost in like really like wanting to grow or sell more or focus on numbers, and that like, but that's not what makes me happy or like makes my business worth doing. It's really just like cultivating relationships with people, getting to know them through the process, and then staying in touch with them. I feel like I always tell people, I'm like, we're gonna be best friends like after this. So, and some people like, you could just tell who will and who will not be my best friend all the time. And it's really fun when the people that you really don't think that you're gonna like connect with, and like that they are gonna really take you up on that. And so I think that's the best part of our business, is that we really get to have these intimate relationships with our clients. And I think that that's the best way to do it too, rather than like buying leads or cold calling or just, I'm terrified of making phone calls. That's like part of what I'm supposed to be doing, and part of that like warm lead generation. It's just, it's scary to pick up the phone and like have them think like that's the reason why I'm calling them, because it's really not. It's like, I do want to stay in contact. I do want to know what's going on with you. But it's scary at the same time, which is kind of funny.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people are that way.
Yeah.
The reality is that, especially with clients that you've already sold a house to, you have a minimum of 45, 60 days of a relation, very talking all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
A very close relationship when you're helping somebody buy or sell a home. And it could be a lot longer than that. I think that it's a weird thing. All of a sudden they close and you're no longer talking. Mm-hmm. I had one the other day. I think it was yesterday. I was talking to them, and they were like, "This it's just weird."
It is very weird. It can be, for sure.
Yeah, because I call mine every 3 months.
Okay.
Because I think you have to stay in touch.
Oh yeah.
But it's just I don't know. It's one of those things that a lot of people have struggled with. But if you start doing it, you'll find it gets easier and easier. And most of the time, you'll get off the phone going, "Wow, that was great," because believe it or not, you're going to enjoy it, because you're going to meet these people. I find it very not very.
It's
good.
always. I mean, there's sometimes
thing.
it depends on the person, for sure.
Yes.
but like most of the time when we hang up, I'm like, I'm so grateful that we like had another chance to connect and like a real conversation.
Yes.
But there's, I mean, other ways too. Like, you know, I do the pop buys, and I do that hopefully pretty consistently. It's just grown so much now. I'm like it used to be like 30 people, and then 60, and then
Right.
and now it's like hundreds of people. So, you know, just finding out a system for that and staying in contact, and yeah.
The pop buys are a little difficult when you have several hundred people that you're trying to.
Oh yeah.
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 Because it takes that's hard to do. Even calls can become like I have too many people to call everybody, so I have somebody who helps me.
Yeah.
Because I have thousands of people in my database that I've worked with, so I have to, you can't just call everybody, or that's all I would do.
How do you have somebody else call for you?
Well, when you go to the doctor's office and they do something, who calls you? Your doctor or somebody in his office, and they call for that person.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same way. They just call and they say, Rick asked me to give you a call. Just want to check up on you, see how things are going, see if you have any questions. Is there anything he can do for you, or does he need to give you a call? And everything goes great.
Yeah.
And what you find is they see that as somebody that you called.
Yeah.
That's how it feels.
Oh man, I'm about to split my people into 2 lists.
Yeah. It helps a lot. Because if you have
I want to talk to,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So the people like Ian, and then the people you want to talk to.
No. Hold on. This is the reason why you build a team. Straight up.
Okay.
You build a team. Once you become so successful, you build a team. And the reason why you do a team is not because so other people can do everything you do. No, you build a team so you can delegate stuff you don't want to do. Look, there's always going to be some people I don't want to call. That was the roughest transaction. But if I can still stay in front of them, look, I can hire a VA, a virtual assistant, and all they do is make phone calls.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Definitely not.
Her wheels are turning. Look at this.
I know, right?
So why not hire people? And then not only does that free you up. So for instance, take all the contracts and making sure that's all. Do you sit there and do all the contracts and make sure everything is done? Do you do all that paperwork, or do you have somebody help you out?
Well, it depends on what season we're in. I had somebody for a while, and it was amazing. But then most of my career, I've done everything myself.
And you were selling 50 homes a year and doing it all yourself. That is unbelievable.
It was crazy. Maybe 40 to 50 for sure.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. And so the year that I had my best year, the last year I was at Tucker, I had a transaction coordinator, and it definitely was super helpful. It's got to be the right person for sure.
Yes.
And that's what I've learned. Right now I've got 2 people on my team, and I've had a couple other girls that, come through, and it's just, it's growing pains for sure. Figuring out what works, what doesn't work, why do I want a team, because I can do it all myself, but really my dream is to have, some people that believe in the same type of business that I do, and that we like run it together, maybe like 2 other like team leaders, and then we have people under us.
Yeah.
That is my dream. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, especially with your kids. Now that most of them are probably doing sports or doing all this other stuff. You can't be like, oh, I got to go do this. I can't go see your game there, little Timmy. And be like, are you kidding me? I mean, Mom, I need you here.
Oh yeah.
So, to delegate one will help you do more, and you can do more of the stuff you enjoy.
Oh yeah.
So just pass all your unwanted stuff off to Rick. But how would somebody get in touch with you?
So my cell phone's the best way. 317-418-4064. And then you can also reach out to me on my website at melindgroup.com.
And Melind is MELIND.
Mm-hmm.
So melindgroup.com.
Correct.
And the number 317-418-4064.
Yes.
Awesome. I didn't do that by memory, by the way.
We have a great website too. I just built it last year. Somebody built it for me. So there's a lot of information on there about our team and how we do business and what we offer. So.
Fantastic.
All right. And Rick, how would they get hold of you or I?
They should go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or they can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938.
All right. And now, so we'll get into the question of the week. And the question of the week is sponsored by, hey, Rick and I, the hardworking mortgage guys, where we believe. Huh?
Who would have thought?
I know. We believe in helping and supporting you and your realtor by sending constant updates to the loan process. Nobody likes living in a black hole, so we do not allow it here. All right, so here's the tough question. What was your first car?
Oh, it was a Toyota Corolla. When I was like, I didn't get my license legally until I was 18, 19. Mm-hmm.
Well, did you get it illegally?
I drove illegally. I was not the most disciplined child when I was growing up. So, as like my parents were like, "You're not getting your license or a car until you like show us that you're responsible." So I would drive my friends' cars.
That's a way to show them you're responsible.
Oh my God. It definitely did not work out. So I was driving my Toyota Corolla by the time I was 18.
Oh, so by the time you're 18, you were responsible enough to.
Yeah.
Apparently, they didn't know you were driving somebody else's car.
Oh no, they knew. My dad was like, "If you show up here one more time in your friend's car, I'm calling the police." And I was like, "Dad, okay.
I love you.
I love you." Yeah, high school years were rough. I was a little.
She was the one that all the moms said, "Son, no, that you cannot hang out with her."
It was more my girlfriend, Jenny Roberts. Yeah.
But I would say that's not a bad car, a Corolla.
True.
And very dependable. Do you have fond memories of that car? Or do you?
I do. When I see, like, there's not many of them out there left. And so when I see one, I'm like, here she is. All her glory.
But you're not going to go buy one again to have it around?
No, definitely not. The best car that I drove was the one after that was a Caprice Classic.
Oh, okay.
Like one of those big body.
So you went from this little tiny thing to the huge car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my dream car. And when my mom came into town and totaled my Corolla. So my then boyfriend was like, "What kind of car do you want?" And I was like, "I think this." And he was like, "Okay." It was like, I could probably have a much nicer, expensive car, but I chose this $1,800 beater that never ran well, but I felt really cool driving it. Yeah. Have you guys ever ridden in the Caprice Classic?
No. Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The taxis, like they're the old taxis.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They like float and it's like having a couch. Anyway.
Well, how do you
was going to get we were walking into that.
I was also how do we segue away from this?
Well, I think we should find out your favorite question.
Oh man.
Oh, all right. So we'll do that. So what do you think your most memorable deal was?
Oh wow. That's a tough one. Most memorable. Oh my gosh. There's just been so many now that I'm trying to think who my favorite people are. Most memorable deal. Maybe I would have to say on our own house. We did a huge addition to our house in Marian Kessler, and we had like the smallest house on the block. And my husband used to like give me a hard time because I'm like, we need a security alarm. He's like, baby, nobody's breaking into this house. They are not choosing our house to break into. So in 2020, we were able to get a construction loan, and we blew out the back and the front of our house, and it was like not even 1,100 square feet, and we added 1,500. So wow. It's not a huge. I mean, it looks large. It's perfect though, and it's beautiful, and we love it. Every part of it is like we got to design it. So we didn't have to move. We live right across the street from our church and the school. My husband grew up going to church at First Meridian Heights right there. Oh, really? So okay. Like now where his recliner sits in our bedroom, out the window is like the bell tower to our church, which is crazy. So it's pretty awesome.
And has your house been broken into yet?
No, I got to
see, there you go.
We're safe.
So it sounds like you do use social media because you were talking about posting. So
Oh yeah.
how do you see social media? What's the power of social media for a real estate agent?
Okay, so I like built my business on social media for sure. Another agent in my office, Elena Musley, who kills it at Tucker. Like maybe the first year that I was there on Cynthia's team, we were talking. We were on a dodgeball team together, and for like Hamco or something. And she was like, "Girl, you got to start doing videos." And I was like, "What? I know. I like it feels so uncomfortable." And this was like when nobody would do videos. Like nobody was doing them, and I started doing them, and I started doing a Meridian Kessler Minute and a Butler Tarkington Tuesday. And I felt like, especially when I rolled off and started my own on my own, I really kind of found my voice and like my own flavor. And I really like to be silly. I don't know if you guys can tell, but that's kind of like, I think people that gravitate towards me, they like my laid back personality and they see that come through on social media. And then I like to have fun and, so, and I obviously like it's blown up now. So
Yes.
everybody. So you got to find something else to do. That's the hard thing now is like everybody's doing the same thing on social media. And so figuring out like all the time how to be different and authentic, at the same time that's tough.
It's not always easy.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
Because it amazes me because it's almost like a lot of, I'll say real estate agents, which probably much more than that, have had to become or have become actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you watch some of them; it's pretty elaborate what they do. I'm more of a quick, easy. I mean, I have somebody who does my social media, and she just tells me what to do. That's what I do, and it goes out. And I'm not comfortable doing a lot of the. I mean, I'm pretty much education is pretty much all I do. But other people have so much that they put out there, especially agents, because you walk people through houses, and you do so much.
Well, that part kills me too, though, because I feel like the people who, they're great on social media, but are they good agents? Like,
Right.
Are they selling houses? Like, how are you doing this much on social media? And I guess you will probably maybe think the same about me if I was just getting started or something. But I'm like, there is a difference between being able to like promote yourself on social media and then also having the experience of, a knowledgeable real estate agent because that's two totally different things.
Yes. What it does is it makes people feel like you're very successful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It doesn't mean that you are. And I think that's kind of the point for especially a newer agent. But a lot of very experienced agents have a lot of social media. But it does, I always said years ago anyway, if I had left the mortgage business and did anything else, I would do a radio show because as soon as you do one, you're an expert and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can be brand new, you don't know anything, but if you're doing that, you must know what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, that's how we assume, right?
Yes. Smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
But whoa. So we've done how many of these shows, and you think we're experts? All right.
I think one of us is.
Well, thank you for telling me that. I didn't think you thought that highly of me.
No, I
Good
think.
comeback, Ian.
Well, everybody knows what the truth is, so I don't need to talk about it. No, obviously we both do a lot of business, so we both have our expertise, and everybody knows different things. And that's what's so interesting about talking to all the different guru real estate agents like yourself is just some of them. Social media is how they did it, and it's how they do it, and it's all they do, and it works unbelievably well, and they are very, very successful. And others have never done any post ever in their life, and they're very, very successful.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to kind of do what you want to, what you are comfortable with, but it's a pretty low threshold to do social media. It doesn't cost very much. It just takes a little bit of time. And I think that's part of the draw to it is it's very inexpensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it's still, you have to do it well. You have to get it out. It doesn't do any good if you don't get it out, right?
Consistency is key for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about this. So what do you think real estate does for a first-time home buyer, for their family, mentally and financially?
Oh my gosh. So I think number one, like anybody who's paying rent right now, as quickly as you can get out of it, do it. You're paying for somebody else's mortgage, right? You're making somebody else rich. And my husband and I learned that firsthand. He was the one in the position to buy our house. In I say Meridian Kelsler, we're South Broderpool, so 46th and Central, between Central and Washington, 47, sorry. And that used to be like the cutoff, right? Like I was like, is it safe over here? Like, and the houses are beautiful, but like even from that corridor down to 38th Street, I mean, we've seen that come up like insanely, right? So by the time how we did our construction loan, it was like we have $100,000 in equity, for the 8 years that we've lived here. And I think Indianapolis, a lot of these neighborhoods, downtown, I mean, anywhere really, decent neighborhoods close in proximity, or Carmel, whatever. If you own real estate in the last decade, you basically got $100,000 just for having it, right? And so we were able to take that, and instead of buying the next house, which we probably would have only been able to do 400,000, and then have to dump another another 100 grand into it to just get it right. We were able to like build onto our house and still have just as much equity in that house, like even more. So we've just been able to build so much wealth for ourselves. And I mean, we're not like, we're still working hard, but just even if it's on the smallest scale, which he bought that house for 130,000 in 2012. Just get in as quickly as possible. And I think too, like, it's very overwhelming. Even people that are like, middle income, not super tight on buying, even they feel overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, this is so much money. But it's so worth it when you make that first payment and you know that you're like dropping into the hat for yourself and your family and your kids. Like, I just look at it like that. Like, you're building wealth for your kids in the future. So
Yeah,
super important.
I fully agree with you because if I were to change what I did, so my wife and I are 4 years difference. We got married and I was 27 years old. I was living apartment to apartment just because I was like, well, if I ever get married, then I'm going to have to buy a new house because that would not been the right one. So I should have bought earlier.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize. So say you rent for 30 years. Guess what? You just wasted all that money. Now, let's say you did a 30-year mortgage, and instead of rent, we're going to change that into your mortgage payments. Mm-hmm. Whatever the value of the house after that 30 years is your value. That's how much you basically, let's say, have in the bank, because you can sell your home and you have that. So if your house, you bought it for 150, say no appreciation, you just bought your house for 150,000. 30 years from now, you have $150,000 basically in the bank.
For doing nothing.
Yeah.
Except just owning it, right? And then you do whatever you want with it. It's so freeing. And I never really understood it. Like, as I've grown up in real estate, like, it's just, and that I think is the important thing too, is having a realtor that really cares about you and your position. If you're not in the position to buy a house right now, like, helping people to see that there is like very, specific, you guys help people with bad credit, right? Mm-hmm. So, right. I mean, that's what I always like brag on my mortgage lender too, is like, he's so creative, which I can see that you guys are, obviously. And so that is, thinking outside the box, strategizing, getting them in a position, even if it's $100,000 house, who cares? For them, that's huge. For me, in time, those will be my $300,000, $500,000 clients, right? So, right. Yeah, I think it's really important to have realtors out there that actually can see that there's people that need help just getting organized to get right. their first home.
Well, the wealth you're helping them build is incredible. So if you can help them get to that point, it can change their entire lives.
It's so special. Like, as a realtor, what we do, like, I mean, there's just so many hats that we wear, but like seeing somebody's dreams, going from one house to the next, or, just even your first time home buyer, finding a program like, I want to say INHP or whatever,
Indiana housing,
but people that are buying these, that are on a fixed income, and these programs, government programs that are building $250,000 houses. And then they're selling them to these people for $150,000. As they're trying to get the neighborhoods to come up, Crown Hill is a really great example of that. but yeah, just helping people that really are marginalized and not able to get the financing, helping them with their strategy to get the house. Yeah.
And if somebody's wanting to get this warm, cozy feeling working with you and all your knowledge, how will they get a hold of you?
They can call me and leave like a message or a text 317-418-4064. 317-418-4064. And yeah, that's the easiest way.
And to get a hold of Ian or I, it's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can call 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And please follow us for more Indies Real Estate Gurus.
All right. Hey, Jenny, we'd like to thank you for coming in. It's been a phenomenal having you on the show today.
That is awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
All right. And reminder, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or refinance, contact Rick or I. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Ripma's NMLS number 664589. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.